My initial contact with the first fruits was my mum was attending the Universal Church. She'd been attending for about a year and I was addicted heavily at the time. I didn't attend the church and I wanted to feed my addiction. And as usual, I'd go into her bag, I'd steal her money and feed my addiction. But on this particular day, I found the envelope and it said, first fruits, and I looked at it. That day, taking the money was so much more difficult than any other day when I would go and take it. Somehow something connected about it. I took the money and I was able to, buy my different drugs, marijuana, etc. But that stayed with me. So obviously when my mum found out and she was trying to prepare her first fruits, she noticed that some of it wasn't there. I was the only person in the home that would do something like that. My other sisters were not addicted. They were very obedient and good children. I was not. So she then came to speak to me and explained that it was something very important, very special, and that it's up to me, but she advises me to, to make a prayer at the time and just ask God for forgiveness because it's something very serious. I remember kind of blurting something like, oh God, if you're there, blah, 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 please forgive me. I didn't really mean it. And I left it. So before coming to the Universal Church, my life was really difficult. We had health problems. I had a lot of bumps all over my skin. The doctors didn't know what it was. Nothing could cure it. We had a lot of problems in the family. I could not get on with my mum at all. Not even for one day. We fought every single day and sometimes I would physically attack her. I had problems with my siblings. I had problems with my school. Because of my addictions, I was a very aggressive person. We had a lot of curses in our family. I had problems sleeping. I couldn't sleep. Underneath my bed was like a bar. I had so much alcohol under my bed because I was trying to hide it from my mum. I would probably say the worst thing that I faced before coming to church, I'd say two things. I'd say the family problems, but also I'd say the financial problems. Because as a child, my mum couldn't afford to give us the best, so she would have to buy our clothes from the second-hand shop. When we lived in Uganda before coming to England, sometimes we ate only one meal a day. So you grow up as a child wanting just the normal things. So when my mum started to attend the church, what I noticed was her calmness. I can't say to you that straight away I saw a change in our financial life, but there was a change in our home. It was just so calm. Of course, until I would come home and create lots of problems because I was still having my own problems. But my mum herself changed. And that's the reason I went to the Universal Church, because I wanted to see what this place was doing to my mum. When I first understood the meaning of the first fruits is when I came to the church and I started to attend a bit more regularly. And in the beginning, to be sincere, I found it very hard. Like I explained, I didn't grow up with anything. So in a way, money was a God for me. So to hear that every time I would receive something, I would need to honor God with my first fruits, I thought, oh no, I will come to the church, I'll make my chains of prayer, I'll do all these other things, but this part of my life is a no. And I used to say, God will understand. And there was a bit of a struggle inside of me because I remember the pastor explaining, it's like a marriage. It's like you're trying to give God a gift through the campaign, but actually you're unfaithful like a husband and wife. And I thought, oh, and that was hard, it was difficult. But eventually I remember as my relationship with God was developing, I started to understand that it's important for me to use my faith. So I was going through a serious problem at university. I'd been kicked out, and I remember one of the youths in the youth group saying, look, let's test God, use your faith. I decided to return my first fruits the first time as an exchange, to be honest. I wanted to go back to university and finish my career, and to be sincere with you, it worked. And I think for a while as I was developing in my faith, that's how it was. I would want God to answer me as soon as I returned my first fruits on the altar, like that same day or that week. But as I developed with God, I understood it was much more than this. And for me, the real understanding happened when I received the Holy Spirit. Over the years, I've seen many things change since I started honoring God. I think I'd start with the biggest change for me because it was the change inside. And I think even if I had acquired all the things I've acquired now physically without the change inside, it wouldn't have tasted as sweet, and I don't know if I would have sustained it. And because of that, I've been able to establish a happy family. I've been able to establish a career. I've been able to bring my family members, my relatives, through my testimony to God. I'm not addicted, I have peace. And my financial life is totally, totally different. It wasn't overnight. You know, I remember a purpose I did in 2017 and I just got the answer in 2023. But through that whole time, I was still faithful. I was still honoring my God. Today, I'm a head teacher. I have a very, very good salary. You know, my family and I, we holiday. We buy what we want to buy. We live in a house where we want to live. We have this fulfilled life. But for me, the most important is the fact that I belong to Him and I can honor Him in that way.